Okay, hi. I get it. Uh, Welcome. Today I decided that I want to record for you a video for a presentation that I gave in the Ayn Rand Center a week ago. Why? Because my recording sadly didn't work through the sound, so it's not very good. And the other recording we have is doesn't have that good, um, the presentation. So I decided that I'll record it again because I think that the ideas behind are very interesting and thought provoking. So I hope that they serve as many people as possible. And yeah, actually, the similar format like this is done for my personal branding course that is out now, or will be out next week. But the idea is that I just improved, this recording stuff. So I'm really happy about this. And yeah, let's go for it. So it was like the idea of why I came there was as a person who's like representing Liberland to Georgia. If you don't know it, my name is Samuela Davidova, and I live in Georgia in the country. I'm from Europe, and yeah, I just do things here. I do presentations related to the libertarian philosophy, and I think, do, and write. And speak. Yeah, I speak. Okay, I really want this tea because it will be, I think, for about 40 minutes. So let me get my sencha tea and let's begin. Okay, cool. I think that's amazing. Oops. Tak. All right, so I was explaining already the first slide. I want to explain it because there's written, like how Liberland created a country that suits people, and if it wouldn't, they can opt out. This idea first came to me when I was making the first introduction to Liberland here in the country. It was for Russian people. And I realized a lot how people are required to be belonging, to be responsible for their country, for other people who were born, thousands of kilometers away, just because they were born on some particular place, which is some territory, and they are given all this responsibility and belonging feeling, and they cannot really, get out of it. So you are like being told that you're responsible for someone else. You're not. Like it's very difficult to get rid of this, and this is actually what I will be speaking about. And this opt-out, the idea is really a lot about optionality. So the idea of optionality of like voluntary principle is that you choose what you want. So you choose if you want to eat or not, because you're full or not. So you can just say, oh, thank you so much for offering me the food, but I don't want it, right? But it's not so easy. Despite you're born and you're already being given some passport and some citizenship, and you're like, I was just bored, And so I would love to invite you today to slightly rethink this principle, because it's defining a lot. And of course, like from the psychological perspective, you might think like, oh, now it's part of my identity. Well, it's not really like who you are. I think it's a bit difficult to really zoom out for regular people who just don't have time to slow down, and to reflect like, who am I really? Well, about who am I, it's really this personal branding course. It's not just about personal branding, but really like self-reflection pretty deeply. And of course, like you're not defined by your passport. I don't have my passport here, but whatever. You're not defined by your passport. You're defined by who you are, who you really are, how people feel about you, and so on. And yeah, and you cannot really opt out from yourself, like from the way you are, from the genes, from the way you were treated when you were little, whatever. This is who you are, you have to accept it. But the citizenship thing and all this belonging things to some nation, the idea of like why I connect this to Liberland, it's because from Liberland you can opt in, you can opt out. Do you want to be part of Liberland? You don't want to anymore, you do not share the values, the views, it's okay, just opt out and it's fine. It's like sort of community thing, which is also how people used to work in the past, like more community based, no one really cared about some kink, whatever. It's just the history classes, right? It make us feel like that. Okay, and questioning the legitimacy of the state, that's the whole idea actually. So yeah, welcome. And let's go. So first, I got this idea what to start my presentation with during or after attending this amazing event. It was like one Friday week, 2 weeks ago. It's the Gamify club, and there was one of the guys. It's like a Web3 industry focused community of investors, founders, and C-level representatives, and so on. And there are always some super interesting people. And this I talked to one guy who just runs some startup app, whatever. It's not much startup. Like he does some project in Web3 simply. And hi, Patrick. He lives here in the country as well. And he asked me, are you human or are you person? And it was like, what? Well, I guess I'm human, And he's like, yeah, because then you're defined by law as a person. It was like, oh, I never thought like this, But this is exactly the thing. How do you feel? Who you are? How do you define yourself? And then I added to this, are you a citizen? So how do you feel? How do you think about yourself? I realized like the most I feel really like a human, and all these other things are like personification with something I'm not. It's being given, right? And the question is like, do I really need to be defined by a law? And now I will maybe provide some different example, and it is rather from like making business, So imagine completely, totally just discard everything you know about yourself. Imagine that you were born on some village, middle of nowhere, whatever, and your family just thinks like how you want to make money. So what you will do, you might grow some veggies, whatever, you might buy some animal, and you will get milk, cheese, whatever. And you will just start selling it on the road, and you will find out that, okay, maybe we'll make money on another road because there are more people, and so on. And this is how you will start just making business, because you need to also buy some things for yourself to be warm, and so on. And so you won't even think, the way we do on the West nowadays, and it is, I need to start a business, but to start a business, first I have to register at the governmental office, then I have to register at the financial governmental office, and then I need some maybe credentials to pay the taxes. Or how do I pay the taxes? So I will need to hire an accountant. And how much money will I actually make if I will sell this service to someone? How much money will I actually make if I sell this cheese? So how much the cheese have to cost so that I would make enough for my living? This is the way we actually think today. And we do not even think this way. Like, this is maybe already an advanced step, but most people just like, okay, I will just go to a company. They manage all these things, all this bureaucracy. I will get hired for a job I don't want to do, so that I would fit into some job position and to meet the job requirements. And based on this, I will get some salary, and it will be predictable and stable and so on, right? Stability doesn't exist. But okay, so do you need to be defined by law? Then you will be defined as an employee. But in fact, the nature of ours, the nature of making business, the nature of everything, it's not even, it doesn't require certain middle person to process it. Even if you are, I don't know, like creating websites for someone, do you need a state for it? What did the state do so that you could make this website? Are you a photographer? The state doesn't give you camera, and because state doesn't really have anything, it just has money from other people, from other taxpayers. Nothing is for free, okay? And the state did nothing for you. So it should be actually disturbing to you. So that you're paying someone for, you don't know what, like what is exactly the service they provided, sort of. Yeah, so do you need to be defined by the law now as a human being? So you're born and you're being told, I'm Czech. Oh, okay, what does it mean? Do I need this? Have I been asking for it? And should I take it as a benefit? Maybe now you think of, well, but you can travel to many countries because your passport is strong and so on. I don't even ask for this. I will speak about this later. Do you need a state to understand your existence? Yeah, again, I exist. I wake up in the morning, I breathe, I walk. I don't really need to really exist. I don't need some institution, Okay. I was already slightly mentioning that we have this need of belonging, right? So in the past, it was more related to communities and to family. And the more this concept is being destroyed, especially on the West, the more people do now belong to family or some communities. It's not just the belonging, it's also the trust. So the more they have the urge to belong to market, like to some corporations or brands, like to fulfill this emptiness, or you will belong exactly to something like you haven't chose, so such community as the state. Hey. So this belonging, it's like by default be given to you because it's something you haven't decided. So you were born and you're told, like, even if you wouldn't have any other community, even if you wouldn't have any other family, so the more likely you will go into, but I'm Czech, and that means this and this, and so I have a state that will take care of me. And the more you have this belief that the state will take care of you if something goes wrong, so the more likely you will be into not really first being self-dependent, or not even aiming to be self-dependent, and to be dependent on your to some other communities. You either have like I don't want to cover this, but like this is like interdependency. So you're fine like on your own, but if that's needed, I don't know, if you had some bad incident or whatever, so you're still willing to, like work with other people or ask for help. And the more you rely on government, the more you rely on such a structure, so the less you will rely on real people, and you will less trust such people. Yeah. Okay. So belonging. So okay, again back to belonging to the state. So I'm Czech, and that means I also belong, and I am also responsible, right, for people who were born hundreds of kilometers away. In some countries, the case is for people who were born thousands of kilometers away? How come? You were just born, you're just breathing, you're just walking here, whatever, and you're responsible. You are told that you are belonging to other people. Why does it work? Well, it's brilliantly described in the book Sovereign Individual. I highly recommend you to read it. It's because you believe that you have something in common. What do you have in common? Oh, well, now you have a unified same language. You're being told that you're same because you were born on a territory hundreds of kilometers away. You are having the same flag, nation flag. You have the same these national anthems, whatever. All these symbols, all these unifications, the same history. You feel like how much you belong together because you have the territory where you are like so far from each other, but you have the same history. So you're so same. This is how it creates you the belief. It enforces your belief so that you belong to someone else just because they were born on some particular territory that someone came and named to be this particular country. Wow, I know, crazy, right? Okay, so you might think, girl, you have a strong passport. Finish this video and just be silent, okay? But no, this is exactly why I'm doing it. So, normalization, when we have this tendency to normalize everything, to define everything, and terming, like having assigned some terms to particular areas, to a nation, like, so I'm Czech, this person is Georgian, this person is French. This, instead of providing some, I don't know, it actually creates much more polarity. It points out to the differences instead of aiming for respect. Because if you wouldn't have this, you would just treat everyone as an individual and you would be like, hey, how are you? How do you feel? And you would really perceive how you feel around them. But first, if the first question of yours will be, hey, where are you from? It's like, oh, you're French, so you're like this. Ah, okay. Of course, it makes sense why this is done, and it is because the brain just works this way so that it's easier for us, to assign certain like definitions, so that we do not have to waste too much brain energy into thinking like, what am I now experiencing, whom I'm now meeting. So you're already like predefined. Thank you so much, governments around the world. You're predefined with what nation you are talking to, as if it defines you, really. I think that even better example of this polarity, and it is like polarity and normalization of something that we haven't decided. This presentation was for the Ayn Rand Center, so she said beautifully, so that it's very stupid things like racism, because it's based on something that we haven't choose. So you're already born, you didn't put any effort into it. So this is why it works so well to manipulate people through racism, because they already have it. They didn't have to put any effort into it, so they do not feel sort of like ashamed or less, because they can criticize someone based on something and feel like above someone else based on something that they didn't put any effort into. And the nation is the same. Are you such a proud whatever nation is yours? Well, you didn't do anything for it. Oh, please don't mention elections now. No, you didn't do anything into becoming this citizen. Yeah, there are some people who have multiple citizenship, and then it's really some effort. put into this, but the more you understand how much nonsense this is actually. And so it creates, but all this pointing out really creates polarity. So instead of treating people like, oh, these people are so nice, so you will be like, oh, they are Burmese, so they're this, low-paid workers, and so on. So a better example is gender. So the current issue, the issue I have with all these women in tech communities and so on, it's because I didn't do anything to be a woman. I love to be a woman. I want to be more feminine because I understand I'm very driven. But the more I would go to the word and I would be fighting in a way, pointing out to, I'm a woman. This is actually a fight. It's I understand that. I'm grateful for the rights we have. I'm really grateful. And it could come only from this. But to me, it's prolonging a fight. And aiming for equality. The more you aim for equality, the more you actually create differences, Just think about it. The more I would be saying, look, I'm a woman. So you will think, okay, so you're this. But I don't want to be defined as per some general definition, I want to be treated as an individual, as this is me. How do you feel around me? How do you feel when I speak? How do you feel when you meet me? Do you like my smile or not? And this is important. Not all these tags. The more tags you have, the more you'll be unified. The more it's really socialism, normalization. This is a norm. And I aim for respect. I want to be respected the way I am. But the more tags I will tell you about, so the more you will be treating me as per the definitions of these tags. So normalization and terming causes polarity. Yeah. Passport, I just described this. Okay. We have this urge again to belonging, and I partly already mentioned this. The only thought I want to share is you either belong and trust to communities and family, you really have a community to which you can really belong, to which you can depend on. If not codependent, it doesn't mean that you have to be completely dependent on it, but you are willing to ask for help. The problem of the independent society is that you're never independent. You're always as a plan B, dependent on someone. So you better depend on community or you depend on the state. There's nothing between. You have to depend. And when you belong, when you just depend on yourself, it's really imagine that you would have an incident. So, would your friends care? What would they do? How far are they willing to go to help you? And if not enough, then the state will have to. So think about this for yourself, reflect in which phase you are. Artificial uniting. It's just so that this is this whole concept is I call it social construct, social construct, socially constructed, as you are being united with, again, people who were just born somewhere. And it's artificially created. This is all these, flag and so on, so that you really feel like you have something in common. It's being really created artificially. And so it was a bit pessimistic. So now I would love to celebrate the achievements that all this nation-state propaganda of our feeling of belonging and also being responsible for other people, for other Czechs, for other whatever. If you're French again, if you're American, to your risk, you feel like you're risk. When someone says, it's just a thought exercise, right? So imagine that someone says, "Oh, Americans are so dumb." If you're American, does it trigger you? So do you feel the urge to explain it? To explain yourself, to excuse yourself? So this is this belonging. This is this sort of feeling of responsibility. Doesn't make sense, right? Crazy. Okay, so nation state achieved some amazing things on us. So first, why all this belonging? Why would you have it? Well, first, because otherwise you wouldn't give money to some institution if you wouldn't believe in it, if you wouldn't need it, if you understood what I just said. You would just be like, wait, what? I don't need this institution. I don't need this to breathe, to really exist. And there are so many alternatives I don't want to cover today, but from security perspective and so on. But you wouldn't definitely pay them so much money. But the important word in this slide is this allowance. So what is allowance? So it means that if you want to make a business, if you want to make money, you have to go to the governmental office and ask, please, let me pay you this fee and allow me, please, to make business. It's so ridiculous. You buy a car and you go to the government and you're like, oh, please, I bought a car. Please give me a license so that I can drive it. And let me pay you, in Europe, that's like $1,000, $2,000, maybe more. So please, let me pay you so that I can drive my car. Have you ever thought of it? It's so ridiculous, isn't it? Some example, I think these are the best. Allowance. Thank you so much so that I can do things with my life. I can do things with my things, right? Okay, another amazing achievement of the nation-state propagandist, and this is a big applause. So many people, even if they travel, they're like, especially if they had never relocated, they're like, my country is the best option. The grass is not greener elsewhere. And sometimes even people who relocated temporarily do say this, and just ask for the context. So oftentimes it's like, yeah, they were working here in the call center, so the job was really shitty and they didn't enjoy it and everything. And they lived in a shared flat or shared room even with some whatever other low-paid workers. Well, of course, that then to them it was considered as terrible to relocate. So your country is the best. This is the best thing, because if you believe in this and if you do not reflect on this through your life, so you will stay in the same country, you will keep paying to the same people, and you'll be just, fine. Yeah, so your country is the best. Oh. And this one, it's like, wow. The biggest, I think, one of the biggest, achievements of not only you belong, not only you pay for allowance, but you wouldn't mind fighting for your country, for other people who were born on the same territory. You wouldn't mind fighting for against someone your government decided to, and you wouldn't mind doing it even for free. How much you do not value yourself. Okay. You also do not mind working half of the year from the year for the state. Like in the Czech Republic, we have something called the Day of Tax Freedom, and it's on the 25th of June. And what does it mean? So on the 25th of June, you stop paying for the government. Until 25th of June, you just make money for the government. You do not have anything left. Yeah. Oh, but in the Czech Republic, if you go to university, it's free. Free. Again, you know, like nothing is ever for free. And now, just think, if you wouldn't pay so much every month to the government, of course, you would have more money to yourself already today, so that you could afford universities, you could afford anything else, because you would have more money so that you can actually spend it on yourself already today, not in whatever 60 years. And you can invest this money into yourself, into your education, because that's what you need now. Maybe in 10 years you'll be like, okay, I want to buy a flat, and you will be able to buy it earlier because you won't be having to pay so much money away from your pocket. Okay. And I think this one is the final achievement, and I really want you to clap out loud. And it is that no one just stops and just questions this. I think that everyone is just so busy that with making money for the government, and if they are curious about, so maybe reading some legislation, because usually legislation is just so long so that you do not really have time to read it, right? So maybe why? So you do not really stop ever to question the system. And this is why I'm here, because I do not have much time, but I just think this way. So I just stopped and I was like, damn it, what the hell? So that's why I share it with you. Please, if you like it, comment below. And then you might think, you know, you came here with this liberal thing, so why did we create another country? It's not really meeting, you know, the idea, right? Honestly, you know, we're libertarians, and we're like, when you tell us your liberland is only in your head, so we will say, yeah, your country is also only in your head. So I think, to me, the impression is more like that we provide this idea of questioning the status quo, showing that things could be differently, even if we played according to the current rules. Like the international law is pretty much set. It's not just on the state level of one country. So yeah, like we were like, okay, let's meet these requirements and let's create our own country. So the foundation, you get to these two guys. I was told that then there are two more people who were actually around the foundation of Liberland. This is our president, Vítě, and who represents us around the whole world. Now we'll be opening the representative offices in Washington, D.C. And this is Rerecorded, who is one of the co-founders, and he's also a founder of Liberal and Software Foundation, which is a non-profit that is working on one of the things now. It's like new email protocol, so like some very nice things. Okay, so Liberland was founded in 2015, and how? So the guys actually found out that there's like Montenegro Convention like a checklist sort of. You have to meet if you want to self-proclaim, or if you want to create your own country. What does a country have to meet? And just if you have a right to self-proclaim certain territory if it doesn't belong to anyone. Okay. Anyway, you got these 4 requirements, and you need population, territory, government, and the capacity to create international relations. And so the relations with other states, that's me for Georgia, and I will go through all these requirements. So first, you have a defined territory. So this is Vít and family on the beautiful sand beaches of Liberland. And this is our territory. So there you can see that we lay between Croatia and Serbia. This is a zoom out map. If you want, feel free to come. We'll be super happy to welcome you over there. You can take a ride on a boat, on the river, or you can go to sauna. We also organize a yearly Floating Man Festival. This year it will be again in August, and we'll be super happy to welcome you over there. Okay, I went to the festival last year myself. I was presenting there a topic of remote work at the conference. It was very interesting. And then we decided that we will go to Liberland. It was because this was in it's called like diaspora village. It's called ARC. It lays in Serbia, and it has this building where is the conference organized, and then outside you have the festival and some cottages and so on. So I gave a presentation, yay. And then we were like, okay, let's go to Liberland. So it was a bit complicated. On the left side, on the photo in the car, there's Vít Jedlička, the president, who's just like driving with his boat, whatever. This is this is Durbinski, who also was with us on the who was with us to get to Liberland, to the land. And he also became our citizen. He had an official ceremony when he was in Prague. He got our passport. So we're super happy to welcome among our citizens Durbinski. He is, if you don't know him, so the guy traveled all the countries in the world, and he's a YouTuber who reports about his trips on YouTube and has over 1 million followers. Yeah. So then we needed government. So we have a very low government, like small government, because libertarian. So just really to ensure, like monarchy, to ensure the most needed rights, and so that it's like nothing excessive. Yeah, so we have making sure government is limited to security, justice, and diplomacy. That's it. You have direct democracy, so you can vote directly even yourself on some things, or you can hand over your rights to some representative you choose, and you can change this decision, not like every 4 years in the election, but every 3 months. You can just decide, I don't agree with this opinion anymore, and you can just take your vote back. The ideology this is based on, it's like our value is a freedom. We have a voluntary tax system, and we have minimum of regulations. You can check the constitution on GitHub. We have Liberland merits. So if you pay the taxes, you are rewarded, and based on that, based on your help to the country, you can get merits. And you can buy with these merits some services, or you can vote in the referendum. We needed a permanent population, so we have our own documents. You can buy your residency card on our website, liberland.org, or you can get a passport for $5,000, if I'm right, and you have to go through the KYC on the website. Alternatively, if you know something valuable, if you want to be part of Liberland activities, make sure to contact my colleague Peter at info@liberland.org, and he'll be happy to discuss with you some volunteering opportunities, and in return you will get merits, and then you can also get, after some time, your passport. And we needed these international relations as well to work at. So we have some very good relations with especially countries like El Salvador, Dominican Republic, from what I know recently. And you can, we have a memorandum of understanding with some other countries like Haiti, Nigeria, Ghana. And where you can use our documents, mainly you can use even like the residency card as a KYC document at the crypto exchanges. Some of them, I know that someone was mentioning also Kraken, so yeah, that's cool. Especially if you just don't want to give your data of your passport or so you can use our Liberland document. And we needed this capacity finally to enter into relations with other states. So this is why I'm here. I'm in Georgia. I organize regular meetups. I go for personal meetings. I attend many conferences and networking events recently. And I also run my own podcast, which you can check. I dedicated the second season to the business perspective of Georgia, which is very interesting if you're curious about the country, because it's like very low tax, low bureaucracy. So it's very nice. Okay, today we have also the tourism, so you can visit us. We'll be happy to meet you there. We are currently organizing every week some new events. You can stay in our cottages over there. You can organize a wedding in Liberland if you're curious about. Yeah, we have this Floating Man Festival. We'll be very happy to see you there. And yeah, they have. You can go for a bicycle race. Yeah, we have so many local activities, so that's totally a thing for you if you are curious into such cultural events. So make sure that you join us. We also have our own Liberland Football Association. Yeah, how you can get there? This is like from Georgia, but I think that the best is to go to Belgrade, and from there take a bus or a taxi to Apatin, which is very close to us. Here is Apatin. Okay, this was the this is my amazing colleague Michal Ptachnik, who's our Minister of Justice, and I had a call with him on one of my presentations. And you can also create your own company, and you can list your services. This is public services. So imagine that your government would list the services on the e-commerce site where you would just choose what you want to pay for. Wow, right? If you have a company, you can use our new sort of like platform, Liberder, where a few companies who are registered in Liberland registered. And this is good so that you can more interact with the community of other companies to get to know each other, so that you can exchange the services between each other. Yeah. Tomorrow, so we have our metaverse actually already, and but it doesn't look like this yet. Yeah, but we're actually the first metaverse country in the world, like country. This is cool, and this is why we're more connected to the Web3, I guess. Beside also, we are now finishing our blockchain, so I should actually become the validator as well. So yeah, like this is what we were busy with recently. I'm happy that we got it done. And what we are currently working on. So we work on improving our diaspora village, this ARC. We work on the recognition of the passport. Guess what? It's like, oh my god, it's such a long run, really. So you have to talk to the right people and so on. We were working on this blockchain infrastructure. It will be soon, very soon done, so that then we can use it also for the voting. And we are regularly welcoming new residents and citizens among us. Yeah. And we'll be opening the Washington, D.C. representative office on the 23rd of May. That's amazing. We're constantly improving the international diplomatic relations. We have our constitution at GitHub. Feel free to add comments and suggestions. It's very interesting to read, really, because there are some interesting ideas, and especially some people already posted some interesting comments, so that's great. And we started preparing the Floating Man Festival. And it was now at Zuzalo in Montenegro, which is some free city, of Vitalik, it seems, from my understanding. And we're also working on the business relations, because we understand that we want to help, business aims in the countries, especially if it's connected to the government, so that one day we could be recognized. But in general, we want to help. We have a community of 700,000 of people around the whole world, and we're really proud of it. So if there's something we can help, we're happy to do so. And yeah, let's cooperate, So how you can help, you can buy a resident, or how you can be part of, if you just like the idea, so that it questions the status quo, if it meets your value as mine, like the freedom. So you can buy a residency or a citizenship. You can visit us. Please visit us. We'll be so happy to do so, to see you there. You can visit us at Liberland or ARC. You can start your own company in Liberland and market your services. You can contact the representative, which is me for Georgia. Please find your representative at the website liberland.org/contact, or in the contact session you will have all the representatives from all around the world. We have around 70 representatives, or representations in 70 countries, so that's a lot of people. If there's something you want to help out with, so contact Peter at info email. He really reads it. I know it's info, but we really read it. And come to our festivals, please. We'll be really happy to meet you at the Floating Man, or you can donate us. We'll be happy about that too. And you can also support our software activities of the Liberland Software Foundation. What does it mean to me, and why I decided to join Liberland myself already last summer? So it's been almost 1 year. Wow. It will be 1 year. So I love the libertarian community. Really, like, from the networking perspective, this is one of the best things I could do. It's just really amazing to meet many like-minded people who stand for freedom and the value of freedom. And I love to show, and I love to see that things could be done differently. I love to question the status quo. And so I don't think that I could find a better project in the world. And feel free to stay in touch. These are my social media. You can find some interviews with me, or the interviews I made here in Georgia, which are very interesting. If you consider relocation here, text me, please. I'll be happy to help. And just to lower the frustration bar for you, because I think relocating to at least somewhere where you are treated better, that's a way to go, really. And maybe it's not forever, but just this willingness to change places so that you would be treated better, it will change your life, surely. Okay, I was so happy to get you here. I hope that it brought you some interesting insights. And see you next time. And let me know, please, your thoughts in the comments. I'll be happy to read them. Sometimes I read comments. And again, if you have any other questions, you can contact me on LinkedIn. I really love it every time when someone texts me on LinkedIn or on Instagram, whatever, so that they saw my video, they were watching it, and it brought them some new ideas. So please don't hesitate, don't be worried. I really welcome this, and it really makes me happy. I really appreciate this because it's like a feedback, so that it really makes sense what I'm doing. So thanks again, and cheers, have a lovely day, and rethink. Yeah.